welcome to Little Light Yoga. My name is Alex Purdy. I'm really excited to bring you some chair yoga today. So I want to constantly be thinking and being aware of the world and knowing that there is all sorts of people out there, all sorts of people looking for yoga, looking for that meditation, looking for that way to integrate their body with their mind, with their spirit. And so that's exactly what I want to bring you today in an inclusive form of yoga. So today we're going to be doing chair yoga. Our theme is going to be opening up our heart. Now before we begin into some poses, I do want to remind you that you should always be talking with your doctor. You should always be making sure that you are safe. If there's anything that I'm telling you to do that is not good for your body or it feels wrong, go ahead and stop. I can't make sure that I'm reaching every single person. It has to come down to you and your own practice. So that is exactly what it is. It's your own practice. So make sure everything today feels right. We want to make sure that we are well balanced in our practice. But that being said, I do want to invite you to add on, to make this your practice, to make this your time to shine. Because that's what we are, little light yogis. Let's go ahead and get started. So today, thinking about opening up our heart, one of the best ways that we can do that is through our breath. Let's go ahead and practice some different ways of breathing. Now, typically as we're going around day to day, and especially when we're feeling stressed, a lot of times our breath is coming in and out of our mouth. So we're doing a lot of this type of breathing. So when we do that type of breathing, it accelerates our heart rate. It makes us go a lot faster. And that sounds like it might be a good thing. However, a lot of times when we're accelerating that heart rate, that our frontal lobe, our frontal part of our brain, which is controlling all of our thoughts, our way of logically thinking through things, starts to shut down. And especially when we're in a time like this with all the quarantines going on, we can't afford to let that frontal lobe shut down. We've got to keep ourselves sane, right? So one way that we can open up our heart is making sure that our frontal lobe is fully functioning. And the way that we're going to do that is breathing in and out of our nose. So let's go ahead and try that, where we breathe in and then out of our nose again. Good, breathe in and out of our nose. Good. So when we breathe in and out of our nose, it allows our whole brain to kind of balance out, allows us to continue to get that oxygen. Our nose has little tiny hairs and it filters out all the toxins before it actually gets into your body. So I definitely think one of the best things that we can practice is that in and out through our nose breathing. Now, if you have any allergies, that might be a little bit difficult, so do what you can. The other thing with this is sometimes even through that, we're kind of building some heat. We're kind of, because it's filtering through our nose, we're building that heat within our body. It allows it to go through more of a process, and so our breath ends up becoming hotter, ends up creating more heat within our body. So sometimes we need to release that heat, and that's where we're going to use some mouth breathing. So if you ever feel like you're a little bit overwhelmed, it's good to continue to breathe in through your nose, but out through our mouth. So let's go ahead and try that. Breathe in through your nose, and out of your mouth. Good, one more, in through your nose, and out of your mouth. Let's do it one more time. Inhale in through your nose, and out of your mouth. So especially with all that stress going on, I definitely think it's a good thing to practice some of that inhales through our nose, releasing all those toxins out through our mouth, all that stress out through our mouth. So as we practice throughout the day, like I said, we're going to be doing chair yoga. We're going to stay completely inside our chair. I'm not going to be moving around. If you at home are able to have some mobility with your legs, you're welcome to add in your leg into the practices, maybe even standing up if you're able to. However, if you're somebody that is mobilized through a wheelchair, it's certainly a great practice to make sure that we're just continuing to open up the heart. You can still practice yoga. Yoga, first and primary, is a breathing exercise. So if there's anything you can't do throughout today's practice, you're going to come back to that breathing that we just practiced. So let's go ahead and get started with some moves just to kind of open up that chest and continue working on opening up our heart through that breath. So we're gonna add that breathing. We're gonna go back to that in and out through our nose. This time, we're gonna round our spine, kind of doing a cat and cow, but through a chair. So we're gonna exhale out and come into a cat pose. Taking our hands to our knees, we're gonna round our spine, our chin to chest. Then we're gonna inhale, opening up that chest upwards to the sky, taking that nice, good belly rounded back bend here. Make sure that you're being safe with your spine. Inhale in, and then coming back into that cat pose, exhaling out, chin to chest. Good, inhale in. And exhale out. Inhale in. And exhale out. Continue with this cat and cow, coming in, breath in and out, breath out on your own pace. So as you're breathing, match that movement to your breath. As you're doing that, I'm going to give you some other options. You can always be a little bit more creative with your spine if you want to take it side to side as you're breathing in and out. You could add in some leg movements if you're able to move your legs. But whatever you do, just go ahead and roll that spine around, taking inhales in and exhales out. As we go through today's practice, I'm going to try to give you modifications and different things that you can do. So if you're not able to get that full rotation coming forward and backward in that cat and cow, you can always just take your neck up and down. And of course, I'm always going to come back to it. The easiest modification that you can do is just to breathe. Okay? So let's take one more. Inhale in and exhale out. Inhale in, back to a nice straight spine. And when I talk about straight spine, I'm actually talking about lengthening your spine, so as long as possible. So I know that many people don't have a straight spine, and certainly those that even think they might have a straight spine don't actually have a straight spine. So one of the things that we can do that's really beneficial is just by opening up that spine, by lengthening that spine. So however that looks for your body, go ahead and lengthen it up. Good. We're going to go ahead and do some half salutations. The way this is going to look for chair yoga is we're going to inhale our arms up, and then exhale, we're going to forward fold over our legs. Now, of course, one modification, you can stand up and inhale and exhale as you do some forward folds there. But if you are inside of a chair, absolutely take your inhales in, reach up, and exhale, forward fold. Good, inhale, reach up, lengthening that spine as much as possible, and then exhale, forward fold. When you forward fold, you want to try to take your chest as close to your knees as possible. However, I understand that there might be some straps or whatever in your chair that might not allow you to go fully down. So if that's the case, you can inhale, reach your arms up, and then coming down to that cat pose again, okay? Another option for your arms, if you're not able to lift them up, you can always lift them to the side or whatnot. Just make sure that you're keeping aware of what your body's telling you within your shoulders. So let's keep on doing that. Take an inhale in and exhale out. Good, inhale in and exhale out. And exhale out. Let's go ahead and take a straight spine, just sitting up nice and tall. Now, for our next one, we're gonna do a ragdoll pose. So for ragdoll, when we're standing up, when we're able to use our legs, we would take a ragdoll and drop over top of our knees. However, for this, we can go ahead and take that forward fold that we just did again. Or it might feel better to take either elbow, hugging onto either side of your elbows, and take those down to your knees. From there, we can inhale our chest forward And exhale, curl that spine down, taking your forehead as close as you can to your forearms. Inhale up. And exhale, forward fold. Now if you're able to, you can always take your hands down and take your forearms down as far as possible. And continue doing that. Inhale, straightening that spine. Exhale, forward folding as much as possible. Now other options, if you're not able to forward fold, you can always just take your forearms or grasp any part of your shirt to kind of get that same constriction, taking it in and out. Okay, so let's continue on. Inhale in and exhale down. Inhale in and exhale down. Good, go ahead and sit on up. Let's go ahead and just take a couple breaths sitting up into a nice tall position. And I want you to go ahead and envision an intention or a dedication to this practice. So an intention in yoga looks like something that we want to offer up to the world, something that we want to take away from this practice. Sometimes that intention might be that you want to offer out light into the world. Another intention might just be to get a little stretching going on, to be able to move around a little bit. Maybe your intention today is just that you take away more breath. Maybe it's restorative. Or maybe a dedication where you dedicate it to a specific person or group of people out there. So out in our world, there's a lot of people hurting right now, and I can certainly see why we would want to send our lights out. It's part of the reason why I started Little Light Yoga, is I wanted to offer out some goodness out into the world for both kids, and now I've gotten a lot of people asking for something about wheelchair yoga and stuff like that, which is why I'm doing this video. And so when you're visualizing either your intention or your dedication or both, I just want you to have a purpose for today's practice. And anytime that we can give ourselves that power into that greater world, it allows us to more fully connect with that spirit part of yoga. Because like I said, yoga is 3 parts: your mind, your body, and your spirit. And we want to connect all 3 of those. So let's go ahead and do that. I want to do a little bit more chest openers where we're able to open up and realize what that, and more fully realize what that intention or what that dedication might be. So go ahead, if you're able to, you can scoot into the middle of your chair or maybe towards the edge of your chair if you're needing to stay there. Just make sure that your spine is nice and lengthened. And from here, we're gonna roll our shoulders back. So roll them back and down and then back up and around. So keep it moving around and around. Now there's a couple modifications that we can do for here. It might not be something that you can do, especially if you have shoulder problems. For me, I get a lot of snap, crackles, and pops. So just make sure that you're being careful. If you need to, you can always just lift one shoulder up and then the other, and just keep that moving, or just go back to your breathing. The other thing, if you want to take it further and you want to get a little bit more movement, we can go ahead and take our arms around in big circles. Whatever you do, when you take your inhales, when you're coming up, whether you're bringing your shoulders up or your arms up, you're gonna take an inhale in, and when you drop them down, you're gonna exhale out. And the reason why we wanna do this is we wanna slow down these movements, okay? And as you're slowing those movements down, I want you to be mindful of your chest. Are you rolling it so your chest is coming in, or are you rolling it so your chest is opening up? And our goal right now is open that chest as much as possible. So keep that going, keep that rolling. Good. Now let's go ahead and take it the other direction. This time we're gonna kind of go the opposite, and we're gonna kind of roll in, and then as we come back, as we bring our shoulders down and back, we're gonna open it up nice and wide. Take it in, close in, and then open up. Good, let's do it again. Inhale, And then exhale as you close and roll, pressing your chest forward, open up, and inhale, exhale. Go ahead and take it at your own pace. Go ahead and shake it out just a little bit. Nice job. Okay, now we're kind of opening up those shoulders. As we get those shoulders kind of open, we're able to expand our chest even further. So let's do a couple other shoulder exercises. Let's take our arms out wide, opening up that chest nice and big. And then we're gonna take one of our arms across our body, grabbing on with the other arm to pull it across. Good, and as we do this, pulling and just getting a little bit of compression in here. You may or may not, it's fine. We're not really focusing on the sensations here, but we're just kind of opening up those shoulders here, whether you feel it or not. Now, a couple modifications that you might feel. As I was doing this with my Aunt Julie the other day, she noticed that she could twist with this and it felt really good just to get that little bit of extra movement, extra twist when you come in here. Now, of course, when you do twist, you want to make sure that if you have any spinal injuries, you don't twist very far, you don't twist at all. Make sure you're keeping track of how your body's doing and what your body needs. Good, let's go ahead and open up and take it to the other side. Now, if this is too much to be pulling across or you can't get your full grip here, you can always take part of your shirt and pull that in, or just kind of take your arms across. You don't need to actually give that compression. You're still gonna open up those shoulders. Good, let's take it in. Inhale in as we open up our chest, and then exhale as we pull, and if you want to, twist. Inhale in, and take it across. Good, inhale in, and take it across. Inhale in, and take it across. Good, this time we're gonna take it, inhale in, and then we're gonna hold it here. So we're now gonna actually hold the pose. So I've been saying that this is definitely inspired by people that want to have yoga if they're mobilized by wheelchairs or need for whatever reason to stay in a seat. Of course, this can work for just about anybody, and this is certainly some of the exercises that I do while I'm stuck in the chair at work. I want to make sure that I'm being able to move around, and while we're focusing on the upper body, you can always be integrating some of that lower body to make sure that we are moving our legs. Let's go ahead and open up, inhale in, and let's go ahead and take it to the other side, holding here for a few minutes. So whatever you're doing, just make sure that you're moving throughout the day. Doesn't matter who you are, what your body type is, doesn't matter. Your little lights can shine, and you certainly can open up that chest and get some mobility within your body. Back, inhale in, and then with your arms out wide. For this one, and you might not be able to see because my arms might be outside the camera distance. I got some long arms. Now the next thing that we're gonna do is do some shoulder rotation. So as our arms are straight, we're gonna have our hands taking stop sign hands, and our thumbs are gonna be standing up, okay? We're gonna rotate those shoulders so that our thumbs are now downwards, okay? So the movement's going to look like this. I'm gonna have some slight shoulder rotations. You might not even see it from the camera view, but you will be able to feel it as you take those. So arms out wide, thumbs up, fingers really spread wide, and then exhale as you take your thumbs down to the ground, rotating those palms backwards. Good. Inhale in, and we're gonna go all the way and rotate backwards this time so your palms are facing up. I can't get them any farther back, but you might be able to. Exhale as you take your arms down, your thumbs facing downward. And then when you're ready, inhale those thumbs up and then to the back of the room, palms facing up. And let's go the other way. So modifications here, you can always have your arms down below and just rotating your shoulders in and around just to get some of that shoulder rotation, shoulder movement. Okay, there isn't a whole lot that I would encourage you to go forward with. You can just take this to your own degree. So whatever modifications you want to, if you want to make bigger movements, would just be to get some more flexibility within those shoulders, just keeping those moving up and down. So wherever you're at, whether you're here in front of you, rotating up and down, or side to side, let's take a couple more breaths in together. Inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in, open up those palms to the world, feel that energy coming in, and then exhale out. Good, and you'll notice that I'm taking some mouth breaths because I'm certainly building some heat, especially with all the work that we've done in our shoulders. So I want to give your shoulders a little bit of a break, so let's go ahead and just shake them out a little bit, whatever you need to do to shake them out. Give me a little dance. Good. Nice job. Okay, so moving forward, we're gonna do some hand movements. Okay, I always think that it's kind of nice to open up those hands, especially as we're focusing so much on this upper body. So go ahead and take some stop sign hands out in front of you. Take them out wide, and then you're gonna take the other hand over top of it. And you're gonna try to pull your hand back to your face. Now, you gotta be very careful. If you have any wrist injuries, make sure that you're not pulling at all. Don't be giving any weight to this because I don't want those shoulders to become aggravated. So you have to be really careful of this. However, that being said, this can be a really good stretch if you're someone that is typing on the computer all day. Just opening up those wrists and getting them a little bit of movement is really helpful. Good, and when you're ready, go ahead and take your palms so they're facing downward, and we're gonna do that same thing, pulling that hand back to our face. Awesome, nice job. Let's go ahead and roll out that wrist. Ooh, and I get a lot of snack crackles and pops. And then go ahead and we're gonna, like we're catching a ball, and we're gonna throw it out. Catch the ball and throw it out. Catch the ball and throw it out. Good, one more time. Catch the ball and throw it out. Good, let's take it on the other hand. So hand out in front of you, stop sign hand. Take that other hand over top. Pull it back to your face. Good, and if you're sitting there like, hey, Alex, I can't do any of this wrist stretching. Like you said, I have an injury to my wrist, or maybe you can't take your arms straight out in front of you. You can always do that right here next to your body. Or if this isn't a good exercise, let's come back to our breathing. Good, let's take our hands down and go the opposite direction. Always remember to come back to our breathing, whether we're able to do the pose or not able to do the pose. Whenever we come back to our breathing, I always like to recall my intention. Always recall my dedication. Good. And let's go ahead and take some shoulder rolls with this other hand. Fast and slow, you can always rotate other directions. Good, and let's go ahead and catch the ball and throw it out. Catch the ball and throw it out. Catch the ball and throw it out. Good, one more time, catch the ball and throw it out. Good, Good job. Okay, so this next one might be kind of challenging, especially if you don't have a whole lot of shoulder rotation. So if you have a towel nearby, that might be something that might help you out getting into this next pose. So for this next pose, we're gonna take our arm back behind us. Okay, and we've got a couple options here. So I'm gonna kind of turn myself in the chair. We have a couple options. We can either, for like probably the most mobile people, we can go ahead and take our hands and grab onto them back behind ourselves. As we do this, we want to make sure that we're inhaling and lengthening out that spine. Okay? Now, another option that we can do if you've got a little bit less mobility is just holding onto our shirt. Another option, I'll come back towards the front, is taking our other hand over top of that top elbow. Now, if you're not able to do any of this, especially those shoulders, if they're hurting, you can always just take your arms down and just reach up and grab your shoulder. Whatever you're doing, whatever position you are in, go ahead and take some breaths. Now, I know I said to grab a towel. If you grabbed a towel, you can go ahead and take that towel and grab onto either side. I've got a towel right here. You can grab onto either side of that towel and take those arms back behind you, grabbing onto that towel. So it looks like this. You can take your arm out like this with your towel, take your arm back overhead, and grab on that towel and just give it a little tug, making sure that we're kind of keeping safe, that we're not tugging too hard and pulling too hard. We're definitely opening up those triceps, as well as if we're making sure and conscious of that spine, we're making that spine nice and long. Whenever we make our spine long, we're able to get that chest nice and open. When you're ready, let's go ahead and drop those hands down, shake it out, take as long as you need to get there, and let's do it on the other side. So arm back behind you, elbow up, taking your hand overhead, back behind you, grabbing to either side of your shirt, or grabbing and clasping hands, maybe even using that towel. If you're not doing that, you can always take your hand up to your elbow, or rather your shoulder up here, or down here, whatever you need to do, just returning to that breath. So here, lengthening up that spine, opening up that chest. In fact, if we do that, we're actually going to get a deeper stretch no matter where your stretch is into that tricep area, which feels really nice. Good. Go ahead and take one more deep inhale in and exhale out. Go ahead and give it a shake out. Nice job. So now, within all these things, we've opened up our shoulders quite a bit. We've opened up those triceps quite a bit. We've opened up our hands, which is really nice. So a couple other things that might feel really great is I'm going to turn this chair around. Just getting some of those back bends. Again, working on opening up that heart. We can do a couple things to open up that heart. So there's this misnomer, especially when we're thinking about chair yoga, there's this misnomer that these back bends have to be like these grand back bends and these big back bends. But the truth is that we kind of get that back bend feeling just by straightening that spine. Watch this. If my back is, and let me take my hood up and over so that way you can see my back. So one thing, if I'm sitting here, you'll see that my spine is rounded. If I just take my back up and my spine nice and straight, you're gonna actually see a little bit of curve in that back, a little bit of a back bend. So this can be your back bend. If you wanna take it further, you can always inhale looking up and taking a little bit more of a back bend, of course keeping within our body's range of motion. Another thing that we can do is if you're able to, you can sit further in your chair and take your hands back behind you and push that chest up, getting even a further back bend here. Back bends are really good about getting that heart rate up and moving. So getting a back bend here will allow you to open up that spine, and especially when you're sitting there in that chair all day long like I am when I'm teaching school, I'm able to get those back bends. and keep myself awake, because when we have a faster heart rate, we're able to think and just accelerate our thoughts a little bit more. And when I am tired at 8 a.m. in the morning sitting at home, I definitely need some energy going. So these back bends can offer some of that. Now, of course, keeping in your spine and just keeping it nice and straight if you need to. I always like to come in and out of those back bends, so taking it to your own degree. Inhale in, and then exhale out. We're always going to do a counter pose, so you can come back into, you can even just take your chin to chest, or you can take that ragdoll position, or all the way forward in that forward fold. Inhale slowly to straight up and into your back bend. Exhale, forward fold, taking it to your degree. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Nice job. Inhale, coming to a seat. Okay, I have one final pose for us to do, and then we're gonna do a meditation. So let's go ahead, we're gonna do some side bending here. Now, of course, that side bending, especially if you're mobilized by a wheelchair, that side bending might be kind of hard to do. So just make sure that you're staying in your range of motion. I'm gonna give you several options for the side bend. Now, we'll start off with the biggest motion. You're gonna take one hand down and the other hand up, and then kind of rainbow arc it over, trying to take that chest, pushing that up to where the ceiling meets the wall, taking it up, trying to lengthen through that spine. Again, just like our back bend, our goal is to get length through our spine, not necessarily go back into these crazy back bends or these crazy side bends. Good, and then you're gonna inhale both arms up, and then the other arm down as you reach out and over. Now, a couple modifications that you can do. You can always just take your arms down if you can't take your arms up, and just use them kind of as a counterweight. It kind of lets you be able to stretch into that side a little bit more. If you're not able to do that, hands on your knees, and then you're able to kind of twist over and around. If you're not able to side bend, of course, just coming to our breathing. So whatever you're doing, inhale in. Good. And then let's go ahead and exhale as we come up. We're gonna take a big inhale in, lengthening up that spine. Every time we inhale in, we're lengthening up. And then our exhales are gonna drop us down to the other side. Keep that spine nice and long. Inhale in. And exhale out. Good, one more time each side. Inhale in. And exhale out. And inhale in. And exhale out. Good, inhale in, coming up to straight, and then take your hands down to your knees. Those side bends can be really good. We want to open up that rib cage as much as possible. We're trying to access that heart and make it even bigger. Now we've gone from forward to backwards to side. We've opened up those shoulders so we keep those moving rather than coming in close together. Now we should have this space to be able to sit up nice and tall for a meditation. Now, before we do this meditation, I encourage you to pause the video and get any other stretches you need to do to make sure that your body is ready for this meditation. I think yoga allows us to have that balance. It allows us to get some movement in with those asanas, those poses, so that we're able to access that single-mindedness. And when I talk about single-mindedness, I'm meaning that ability to take it down and not really think about anything. Our goal in yoga is trying to clear the mind so that we can connect the spirit, mind, and body. So let's go ahead and just take a nice tall seat and take a big inhale in and exhale out. And for today's meditation, I want you to be focusing on your heart, okay? We don't necessarily need to feel our pulse to be able to feel our heart. And I want you to try to figure out if you can make yourself 10% more open. Your chest even just 10% more open. Take an inhale in and exhale out. And just get a little bit more openness. Inhale in and exhale out. One more time. Inhale in and exhale out. Now I want the rest of this meditation for your breathing to be as it is. So as you're here in this meditation, I want you to feel yourself become comfortable, still remaining tall, but connecting to that heart. The easiest way to connect to that heart is through your breath. So making sure that we're taking it at our own pace. And I want you to listen to it. And I don't just mean the beats from beat to beat to beat. I mean listening to it, listening to what it needs and wants. I think we're at an amazing time in our world where we're able to take some time, able to actually have some patience, and a couple extra hours each day to listen to what our body needs. Because I think as a full country, we haven't been listening very well to our body. So take a second and tune into that. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And here in your chair, I want you to go ahead and take a second to stretch your body out as much as you need to. Stretch like you're waking up first thing in the morning. Give me a big smile. So after being able to tune into that heart, after being able to open up our hearts, I want you to be able to take this out into the world, whatever that means. And I know that we're not able to necessarily leave out into the world, but we're still affecting the world no matter what we do. So with that, I want to end with a mantra that I always say at the end of my practices. So if you're able to, take your hands to your forehead, because today I wish for you kind thoughts to yourself and others. And then take your prayer hands to your mouth, because today I wish for you kind words to yourself and others. And then take your prayer hands to your heart, because today I wish for you kind actions to yourself and others. And at the end of every yoga class, we say namaste. And that means peace be with you. Because when the light inside of me honors the light inside of you, and my goodness, does each of us have our own lights to shine. And when our lights are honoring each other, we can bring peace to this world. So please, little light yogis, spread your light into the world. If you would like to follow me and get more videos, please look in the description down below. I've got my Instagram, I've got my Facebook. I'd love to connect with you. If there was a pose that didn't feel right or you want to brainstorm some other ideas, I'm happy to hear from you. And I'm happy to work individually with each of you if there is any sort of things that you specifically want to work on. So please reach out to me. If you really enjoyed practice, I do have my donations links as well down below, so check those out. And with that, my little lights, go and shine.